Hi, it's me, Olga. Today I'm going to demonstrate how you can use an elegant room builder die set along with a couple of matching products from the latest Christmas release by Paper Discovery. This unique set allows you to create various interiors on your cards, including the room decorated for Christmas. And of course, it's also great for other projects like new home, miss you cards, and many others. So let's get started. First, I'm going to create the background, and I'm going to use an A5 Elegant Room Embossing folder for this, which is also the part of the new release. This folder is quite huge. It measures 5.5 by 8 inches. By the way, it's also great for using with 5 by 7 cards or A2 cards. So I have spritzed a piece of paper with the water to prevent it from cracking. I'm waiting for the water to soak in, and then I'm placing the paper inside the embossing folder and sending it through the die cutting machine just as usual. The result is an entire elegant classy room with wooden floors and panels and the floral wallpaper. Before I attach the background to the card, I'm also going to create a frame. This is not necessary, I just have a weakness for framed cards. I'm going to use the largest frame from Card Builder die set, that is from one of the previous releases. I'm using the two plain frame dies on a piece of a patterned paper to die cut a background, and then I'm going to use all three frames together with an insert to create the lacy top for the frame. So this is what the top part of the frame looks like. Now I'm going to apply some liquid glue at the wrong side of it, and then I'm going to stick it down on top of the patterned paper background. This frame is quite large. It measures 5 by 7 inches on the inside and 6 by 8 on the outside. The card base I'm going to use for it is going to be even larger. It's 6.5 by 8.5. So here is the card base. Now I'm applying quite a lot of adhesive on it and sticking down the background. I'm pressing it down to make sure there are no large bubbles left, and then I'm going to use some foam tape to attach a frame on top of it. So now we have an empty room in a frame. So what do we do with that framed empty room? We fill it in, of course. And this is exactly what we are going to use an elegant room builder die set for. So here is the set, and it includes 20 dies. It has a lot of furniture pieces as long as some accessory, and it even has a sleeping cat and a dog. Notice that the dies are not actual size. They are in fact much larger than shown in the packaging, so you can use them on the large cards as well. So here are the dies that I've chosen for this particular project. Since this set is so big, you won't be able to use all the dies on one card unless you are going for a really large format like A4. Instead, you can choose a few different elements each time and create a great variety of projects. Sometimes even one element will be quite enough to make a card. So now let me show you how you put the furniture together. To assemble this sofa, I'm going to create the background that I'm going to stick all other elements to. Then I have die cut the frame using those two dies. And then I've used these dies, the outline and an insert to create the soft part of it, if I can say so. You can notice that one of the dies has those holes in it, and you can use these for embossing or for stenciling. This time I'm going to do with the stenciling. So I'm applying some faded jeans distress ink with a sponge applicator right through the holes. I'm going pretty monochromatic with this card. I'm just using some white and cream cardstock and one sheet of patterned paper. The sofa is actually two sides of the same sheet. To assemble that sofa, I'm attaching the frame first. I'm using the liquid glue in a needle applicator bottle for this. As soon as the frame is attached, the remaining work is pretty simple. You just have to inlay all those pieces and they come together just as a puzzle. And this is what the finished piece looks like. The Holiday Gifts is a very interesting die. It has the outline and the topper. The topper in its turn has the see-through cutouts as well as some stenciling elements. So I'm applying the same ink, faded jeans, through the die again, and this is what it should look like. Then I'm just going to apply some glue again and stick this element on top of the background, and now the gifts are ready to go on a card. The next element I'd like to show you is the frame. It also has that embossing elements, so I've die cut and embossed it, and I'm going to foam mount it on a piece of patterned paper, the same one I used for the frame and for the sofa. All there is left to do is to attach a sentiment, and the sentiment is also a part of the set. Since the sentiment is rather small, it can be used for gift tags as well. I've die cut the sentiment out of white cardstock and stuck it down with a liquid glue. And here are some smallest elements for this card. You don't have to assemble them in any way, you just have to die cut them. And now let's decorate a Christmas tree. I've die cut it out of the same patterned paper, and I back it up with a piece of white cardstock just to give it some extra sturdiness. It might not be necessary each time. You see that the die cut has some cut-through wavy lines that I'm going to use later. But first of all, I'm going to arrange some baubles on top of the Christmas tree, and once I'm happy with their placement, I'm going to stick them down. There are so many opportunities for decorating this Christmas tree. You can use up your embellishment, you can use half pearls, beads, or all kinds of sequins. But this time I'm going to keep it pretty simple, and I will only go with those ornaments that are part of the set. The only other thing I'm going to add is the snow. So I'm using my SNOW-TEX embossing paste, which is white and chunky, perfect for creating snow effect. I'm applying the paste along those wavy lines, using them as a guide, and then I'm also going to add some all around the edges. And now the very fun part. Let's put the entire room together. As always in this type of projects, I'm starting by attaching the largest elements, and then I'm moving on to the smallest ones. So this time I'm starting with the Christmas tree. I'm sticking it down right onto the background like that. The sofa is gonna go off the edge a little bit, so I'm just going to take my scissors and trim off a small part of it. Then I'm going to use a couple of pieces of foam tape along with the regular adhesive to attach the sofa onto the card, and as I'm doing it, I'm trying to tuck in the right end behind the frame. This way the cut end is gonna be completely hidden. Trimming down large elements will allow you to create even more card designs. So now I have attached the picture frame onto the wall, and then I'm attaching the holiday gifts right in between the Christmas tree and the sofa, just like that. The finishing touch is going to be this little round cushion, and then I'm going to attach a cat as if he's sleeping right on it. And this is my card all done. Although it has so much texture on it and it has a lot of layers, the entire card is still no thicker than 1/8 of an inch, and it's going to fit inside the envelope perfectly. And now let me show you how I made another non-Christmas card featuring the same die set. The card base I have created is very similar to the previous one. I have used the same embossing folder, but the frame is plain. This time I'm going to use the curtain dies from Window Tag Editions die set, also from the new Christmas release by Paper Discovery. Those curtains are a perfect match for a window die that is released earlier. By the way, this window will also work great with the Room Builder die set, as you can see here. But for this project, I just wanted to demonstrate that you can use curtains without the window. I will be using them to frame the card. So all I'm gonna do is to attach all the curtains with the foam squares. Each time I'm attaching the curtain, I'm trying to tuck in the edges behind the frame. As you see, I've die cut the top lambrequin twice, and I'm going to attach it at the right and left edge of the frame at the very top, and then I'm finishing it up with a central piece like that. Looks somewhat similar to the curtain in the theater. These two tiny elements are also the part of the set, and I'm using them to create the strings for the curtain. I've die cut those strings out of gold mirror cardstock, and I'm attaching them with the liquid glue. Then I just have to attach the remaining elements to finish off the card. This time it's going to be this bookshelf with a clock and a sofa again. I have created it the same way as before, I just used different colors. To dress up the sofa, I'm also going to add a couple of bolsters. They are the part of the set, as well as the round cushion that I also used on a previous card. And of course, the scene would not be complete without a kitty sleeping on it, waiting for you to come back home. And this is what the second finished card looks like. I definitely love the versatility of this die set, and if you are like me and you love interior design, this is the great way to practice it without actually having to move the furniture. I hope you enjoyed the demo, and I can't wait to see what you are going to create using the Room Builder die set.